Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video we'll be playing in the Tier 10 Polish tech tree tank destroyer, the NZ-70 Błyskawica. This is a tank that I had a very challenging time enjoying a couple weeks ago, and even when I 3-marked it. The major reason being it was just so unflexible. You would put this tank into a slightly over-aggressed position, its terrible reverse speed, pretty mediocre traverse speed, and armor that just didn't seem to work, all combined into this big mess of a vehicle. And while it does have crazy potential in terms of DPM and damage per shot when close, the problem was making those plays to get close usually resulted in your own untimely demise. However, in the latest update, calibrated shells got nerfed, unless you're driving this tank, because for those of you that weren't paying attention, APCR actually got a penetration buff, going from 5% to now 6% with Cali. That means running the Błyskawica, you are now looking at over 300 millimeters of AP pen and almost 400 millimeters of your premium APCR, because both of the rounds this thing has are APCR. So that alone is pretty dang crazy. But also, because of this vehicle featuring pretty strong frontal protection, enhanced armor getting better, and vehicles losing standard and even premium pen, allows this tank to now actually be pretty reliable at getting bounces, especially when hauled down. So because of that, yeah, this vehicle basically got buffs in every single category. It has more penetration, it has more effective armor, and it also features more mobility due to engine accelerator getting a buff. Add that all together, and yeah, the Błyskawica is acting pretty dang strong now. That's not to say that every time you drive this tank it's going to go well. As I mentioned, there are still some major drawbacks. The reverse speed will always be the biggest problem with this vehicle, because I think it reverses at like 12, 13, and if you make an over-aggression and you try to back into cover, chances are you're just going to be cooked because, oh look, the entire enemy team has now farmed me. So you got to be really careful in that regard. And the thing is, this tank does more damage the closer you are to your opponents. So you literally want to get as close as possible to deal that damage. But obviously, if you play too aggressive too fast, you're going to be taken out of the game very quickly. You're a tank destroyer, so you only have 2,000 health versus heavies, which have even tier 9 heavies like the D75 of 2,300, so substantially more health than my vehicle. With that being said, we're going to head over towards base D. I hate that Wargaming changed the spawn of tank destroyers. I don't know why they did that. They fixed the spawns on this map by making heavies now spawn up at the top, but they made it so that tank destroyers can spawn at the bottom now, and that's ridiculous, because if you're in a slower TD like this one, you have to now drive all the way up the hill just to get where you would have previously not had to go. It's pretty frustrating. But thankfully, once this vehicle gets up to speed, it does have a decent top speed. We also have delay in this game, which is a bummer, but this thing does have a decent top speed, upwards of like 45, but you'll notice that its power to weight ratio is pretty bad. We're only going 33 right now, so it's not the fastest tank. Let's see. The BZ-68 is detected. There you go. We have the enemy 116, which I'd love to be able to hit, but not able to just yet. Huh. Well, I don't know if that T-30 is planning on camping or what their big brain plan is, but aha, there it is! There it is. I decided to make one maneuver, and because of that, the T-30 is going to take 680 of my health off. How incredibly fun. We love tank destroyers. Okay, well, there you go. Nice shell into the enemy Cobra. And we'll chill here in cover. Reload for a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Doing fine so far. Cobra's going to do his thing over there, and Leopard, you need to move out of my way. Alright, let's see. We have the 60 TP. We have the 116. Aiming. Boom! There you go. 683. That is a huge chunk of damage. And obviously, this thing does hit very, very hard. When you're able to get this thing's gun to work, it is going to deal 700 damage to enemies that are within 50 meters, which is pretty crazy. That's enough damage that you're basically going to kill whatever it is pretty quickly. So let's see, we have the FE Defender over here, and we're going to aim it on that player. Boom, there you go. 625. We have the Minnow on my flank, and that's a pretty big threat. I'm going to move up over here. Let's see if we can get some damage into the enemy Minnow, and not able to just yet. That kind of sucks, but I'm hoping that if we poke this properly, we can hide our lower plate and get a nice shell into his lower plate. There you go. 576. That's pretty good stuff. And, again, we have so much DPM in this thing that even if the minnow tries rushing me, which they are, we're now dealing over 700 damage per shot. So that's 703. Will the minnow kill me? They might. They did reload the shell, so there's a 50-50 chance they take me out of the game at this point. However, there you go. We were able to back up, hide our lower plate, and clear that player right out of the game. At this point, we are up to 3,700 damage. We have the K91 left, which we miss. This vehicle is a bit troll on its accuracy. That's one thing I will say. It is very, very troll. But it doesn't make too much of a matter. We're going to get a nice high explosive shell into the rear of the K91. And all that's left is the enemy FE defender, who our Jagdtiger takes out of the game. Pretty good battle. 3,800 damage, 3 kills, and you can definitely see where the DPM on this thing is crazy. We hit our lower plate from that minnow, they couldn't pen me anywhere, and in return we got a 600 and something damage shot, and then a 700 damage shot. I mean, that's over 1,300 hit points taken off that vehicle in 10 seconds. That is wild. That's why we were able to output so much damage, even with that delay. But you also saw that it's kind of frustrating when you try to make, like, even the slightest aggression, and then an unspotted T-30 takes 700 of your health off. That's a third of your vehicle. And that's the thing you have to be really careful about. Autoloaders exist. High alpha tanks exist. That 116 F3, if they were running the auto reloader, are able to deal 1,260 damage in 5 seconds. That's literally 2/3 of my tank gone, just like that. And even if I hit that player back, I would still probably lose because they have so much more health. And, for example, this game here, we have a M6 show and a VZ55. So, again, it's definitely a bit of a problem. Alright, well, let's see. We're going to head, obviously, over to the medium, or not the medium, but like the heavy-ish flank. Let's climb over this hill. Wargaming really has been giving me bad spawns. What are these garbage spawns here? Alright, down we go. As I said, this tank does have a top speed of 45. The problem is that it just never reaches 45 kilometers per hour because of the fact it's got a really bad power to weight ratio. So let's keep going. We got the Type 71, and I'm going to move up myself. Let's see. Anybody here? I'm going to chill in this spot right here for now. And let's see if the VZ55 pokes, or what their big brain plan is. They shoot once. Our teammate in the Type pokes them, and we're going to aim in ourselves. Okay. Gotta love that accuracy. That was actually just really cringe. That should have penned, but for some reason, it decided not to. Our Type gets another shell into the VZ, and at this point, I'm going to drive behind them, and we'll see if we can get a big old chunker out. Here we go, and boom, that's 733 damage. That is just such an insane amount of damage for a single shot in this vehicle. And it really does show, especially when you do get close range, how deadly this thing can be. So, what do we got? We have the enemy M60 poking hull down, which doesn't really threaten me that much. Got an easy shell right into their turret. Remember, this thing has like 400 mils of pen. So, you're really not going to struggle to cut through much when it comes to at least penetration. It's just not an issue you're going to run into. We have the enemy M60 who tried to show me their hatch. Didn't hit them, but it's fine. They're not going to pen me anyway here. I'm not worried yet. Good job. We'll just keep chilling. We got a couple seconds left. We got the Yo in front of us. Boom. There we go. 598 into the Yo. And our Type 71 is going to move up as well. So I have teammates here. We'll just keep chilling, hull down. Aiming on that Type. Boom. There you go. 789 off that player. Good job. You just threw your entire hit point pool away for that. That was a great play, my guy. Well, we just chill. We sit hull down, and we have the M60. Let's see if they poke again foolishly. Let's see. There you go. 524. Why are we poking me? I don't understand. You can't pen me. What do we think we're going to accomplish? I'm not really sure. We're going to reload for a second longer here, and let's go for the track wheel. That way the 30B can't really move. It's nice. That bleeds him out a little bit. We're going to chill and cover over here, and let's reload again. Oh, dang, I didn't have the gun depression. That sucks. Okay, and I'm not going to waste my shell on the 30B when the Yo's right here, so I'm just going to wait. The Yo is going to die in just a moment, and goodbye. There you go. Yo is taken out of the game, which leaves us just with the enemy minnow and the 30B. So let's back up. Obviously, I don't want to be hit by the 30B. Let's aim it on the lower plate of the minnow. Boom. There you go. 491. That's pretty good stuff. And we reload again. Got a couple seconds left. See if we can get another shell into the minnow. I'm just going to load a gold shell to guarantee it. And we'll pull back into cover. Are we going to die? It's possible. It is very possible. I'm obviously in a bit of an awkward position here. But I think that our teammates will help me out. We're going to load a gold shell, and we'll go directly through the entire armor profile of that minnow. There you go. That's 4,700 damage. The only tank left at this point is the 30B in front, which we just bounced the upper plate of. My bad game. Clearly a skill issue. Alright, tight pens that shot. We're going to reload again. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, we have our shot. Let's see. Let's see what the 30B's big brain plan is. Well, it looks like they're just going to allow the type to shoot them. Oh, well. I was kind of hoping we could get one more shot out and get out 5k, but either way, 4,700 damage is pretty good. And you saw where this thing is crazy. That M6 Yo, for some reason, thought that they could rush my tank, even though I have 4,000 effective damage per minute when you're within 50 meters of me. That Yo, in 2 shots, lost... how much health? Like 1,400? Yeah, because we did like 100 damage on the last shot we killed them with. So they lost 1,400 health to make that play. Even if they had shot me twice, they still would have lost that trade, and then I could have obviously continued bleeding them. The M60 got really lucky that my shell low rolled, and even then, we still took over 860 health off of them. The minnow, we took 1,100 off of. You can definitely see how this tank is actually genuinely pretty strong now. I mean, there are downsides, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get caught out very quickly and probably fall apart. But if you know what you're doing, this tank can genuinely be one of the most dangerous in Tier 10. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you want to see more like this in the future, make sure to smash that subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.